Cool. Good evening, guys. We are live now. So happy Tuesday. I always forget the day of the week. But yeah, happy Tuesday. Welcome to another My English School broadcast. Unfortunately, the weather today and yesterday have been not good. It's cloudy, it's grey, it's horrible. Here in Milan, at least. Please, guys, write in the chat and say hello, say where you're from. Hopefully, where you are, the weather is nicer. What am I writing? Yeah. Please say hi in the chat and let us know where you are from. Yeah, so first I should introduce myself. My name is David. I'm from London in England. I had to think then. I'm from London in England. I'm 27 years old and I have lived in Milan for a year and a half now. A year and a half. So yeah, I live in Milan, as I said, and I work at the My English School in Viale Montenero. So if you're a student from Viale Montenero, say hi. It's good to see you again. Say hi in the chat over here or below, depending on where you are. But yeah, be good to see you, good to chat with you. It's just been the weekend. Maybe some of you had some weekend plans. I had a nice weekend, very relaxing weekend. No work at the weekend, which was nice. So I could relax, watch TV, read. I did some yoga as well, which was quite nice. Trying to get better at yoga in this quarantine at the moment, trying to get more flexible, more stay healthy, mostly, to be honest. But yeah, that was my weekend. And this week I've got a very busy week for work, which is great, which means there's lots of English happening at the moment. It means all the students hopefully have some free time. But cool. Yeah, as I said, say hi in the chat on this side. Let us know where you're from. But yeah, it'd be good to speak to you. So today we are talking about intermediate networking 5, breaking ground. Breaking ground. So I like these business focuses because usually there is some more metaphorical language or maybe some more business specific language that doesn't really make sense outside of that context. And the first one is breaking ground. What does that mean? To break ground. I'll write that in the chat so you guys can see the question clearly. What does it mean to break ground? There, obviously, I've put it in the infinitive because it's a verb. But what does it mean to break ground? Now, there is a small delay in the chat, so I'll let you guys. Marco, cool. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back. Celebration? You are asking about how a celebration went? I don't remember a celebration. Oh, my anniversary. Can't forget my anniversary. It was really nice. It was a very nice evening. We got takeaway pizza on Deliveroo, which was really, really nice. It's the first time having pizza in, 9 weeks now, I think we've been in quarantine. So yeah, about 9 weeks since having pizza, and it was so good to have pizza. It was a very nice evening. My boyfriend surprised me by putting candles all over the apartment. So when I finished my work at 9 p.m, I went out to the living room and it was all very romantically lit with candles. Wonderful. And I took lots of pictures, of course. But yeah, it was a very nice evening. Thank you for remembering. That's really nice. But yeah, cool. I hope you had a good evening, Marco. Did anything specific, anything nice happen over your weekend? Fingers crossed. But also I'm asking the question, what does it mean to break ground? Because that's the title of our focus activity tonight. Any ideas, Marco? What does it mean to break ground? Oh, not quite. Not quite. Good logic, though. I understand why you may think that, but no, breaking ground means something quite different. To break ground means to start a project. To start a project, because maybe in building or in some sort of industries, the first thing you do when you start building a building is you break the ground so you can dig the foundations of the building that you are constructing. So yeah, to break ground means to start a project. Yeah. But Marco, tell me, how was your weekend? What did you do? Did you do anything interesting? And is the weather maybe nicer where you are? Because here it is very cold, it's very grey. In English, this weather, we would actually say it's a bit groggy. This weather is a bit groggy, which is grey, overcast, cold, just bad weather, really. Groggy. So I can say I break the ground doing something. Yes, grammatically what you've just said there is fine. But when you start a project, you would say, let's break the ground, or let's get going. Or asking when did a project start, you could say, when did you break ground? Or talking about the future, we are going to break ground. It's not really used in the present tense. Unless talking about the future, we break ground next week. Yeah, because you're talking about the start of a project, it's usually in the future or in the past. At the time, you'd say, let's break ground. It's like saying, let's start. Let's break the ground. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. And so then moving on to our objectives for today, we have in this business activity, collaborating, making observations, hide this, and making tentative plans. So breaking ground, we're starting projects today. Collaborating, two businesses or two people are coming together for a project so that they can work together, they can collaborate, making observations and tentative plans. And so that kind of meeting and the first thought process, the first brainstorming session, perhaps, when you need to start the project, when you need to break ground. Yeah? Perfect. So collaborating is for when two people or two things come together and they work together, they become one. But usually it's temporary. To collaborate is to work together temporarily or only on one project. Yeah. So you can say two artists collaborate to make one song when you have one song featuring another artist, or Fashion designers come together and they collaborate to create a season of clothing, perhaps. It's a collaboration. They work together temporarily off of one project. But what word do we use when two businesses or two entities come together permanently? Permanently. So if collaboration is working together temporarily, what word do we use when businesses or groups come together permanently? I can't spell permanently. Perfect. I put that on the group, on the page for you. Wonderful. Work for, you're not wrong, Marco. I mean, that's more for when an employee works for a company. When you are recruited, you say, I work for. But I'm talking about when two businesses become one business. Like one could take over another, or one could buy another business. But usually I'm thinking of one where they work kind of on the same level and they decide to come together and run the one business together. It begins with an M. M. Yeah, it could be a corporation. It could be a corporation, of course. We would call this when two businesses come together permanently. It is called a merger. They merge together. You've probably heard this word before, maybe outside the world of business. When two businesses come together, it's called a merger. They merge together. And this is when they're on the same level and they've become one company that they manage together. Yeah. There's no hierarchy. They become one. Perfectly equal. Perfect. So today we're kind of focusing a bit more on collaboration. Perfect. Oh, cool. I'm glad you've heard the verb before. But yeah, we use it as a noun in business to say when two companies come together. Perfect. So remove this, move on. Here, two heads are better than one. How important is collaboration in the workplace? Do you do it often? Think of the following ideas and create examples for how to collaborate in these ways. What are the most important? So teamwork, leadership, expertise, inspiration, vision, and motivation. I don't want to spend too much time on this, on the second half of this slide. We can just focus on the first half. So Marco, or anyone else watching, tell me, how important is collaboration in the workplace? And do you do it often? Where you work, Marco, do you have to collaborate often? Just wait for your answer to come through, because Marco, you are the only person watching. So thank you for watching. I'm waiting for your personal answer. I have to collaborate quite often in my work because I often, yeah, it's fundamental. I often have to work with other teachers when we create events at our school. I work with the teachers with that one. I always work with the consultants, the receptionist, uh, when students maybe have a problem, or even if something very good happens, there's always communication between teachers and consultants at my English school. So collaboration is fundamental, as you said, really, really important. Cool. So in what way, Marco, how do you collaborate with people? Because yeah, it's fundamental. What sort of team do you work in? Remind me your job, what you do. And careful of your spelling there. It's fundamental. Fundamental. They often require in-personal skills to be collaborative and open to work in a group. Yes, of course, you need to have good people skills. We say good people skills. Good people skills. And yeah, you need to be open to the situation or to the idea of working in a group. Sometimes I prefer to work on my own, depending on the job that I need to do. But yeah, it's nice to work in a group, and you do need to be very open-minded. You have to have good people skills, and we would say let me type it, interpersonal skills. You can say good people skills or interpersonal, meaning you can collaborate within a group or around other people. I'm a film journalist. I work for some film festivals in communication. So I'm part of a group. I'm independent, but I share some things. Cool. What kind of things do you share then? I'm sure that as a journalist, you have to collaborate with people that design where your work will be published, probably work with photographers or, I don't know, people you're interviewing, cameramen maybe. But that's really cool. I really like that job. Kind of jealous. A film journalist. Awesome. Did we skip a slide? I think we've missed one. No. Perfect. Just here. Cool. So on here, oh, I'll make it bigger so you can read it. Case study, Der Becker GmbH, Switzerland. Der Becker is a global financial services group offering brokerage, investment, and financial assistance. They've just opened a branch in India to track the local market. Sales rep Gavin Haney is attending a finance conference in New York when he runs into Rohit Vijay, CEO of famous family-run brokerage in New Delhi, India. They each weigh in on a potential partnership. Perfect. So here, Marco, I want to ask you, is there any language or vocabulary that you don't understand, perhaps in these paragraphs? Don't worry about the questions at the moment. I first want to talk about language in here. Usually, I'll go through the ones that students usually ask about. So what does branch mean in this context? In this context. As a journalist, yes, interviews and articles. As for the communication, all the things related to the press office, such as press releases, news. Perfect. So lots of collaboration then with lots of different people. Awesome. Perfect. So what does branch mean in this context? Because in another context, we could say that a branch is the arm of a tree, the arm of a tree. But here we are not talking about trees. We're talking about business. Yeah, so you're perfectly right with the part of the tree. It's part of the same company. Perfect. Perfect. It's part of the same company. It's the same company opening in a new location. In a new location. So this is a financial services company from Switzerland, and they have just opened in a new location in India, and we call this a branch. Perfect. The next one that people usually ask is sales rep. What does sales rep mean? Oh, brokerage. Cool. Let's talk about brokerage. A brokerage is a financial broker. So they buy and sell products for clients. Basically, clients, if they want to buy something for a lot of money, they would usually go to a brokerage to ask them, what do I buy? When do I buy it? Maybe if they want to invest in something like art or architecture, I don't know, something for something expensive. Yeah, but it's a business that buys and sells products for clients, I guess, when they want to invest in expensive products. It's like a mediation, yeah, because they mediate between one and another, between the client and the seller. Mediation. Beautiful. Yeah, a sales representative is the person responsible for the sales. So this is a person, yeah, the person in this context, he would be looking for products to buy or looking for products to sell for his clients. He's probably out looking for what the client wants to buy, especially if he's investigating a conference in New York. Cool. Family run is an obvious one, a company that is managed by a family. And then final one, a phrasal verb, everyone's phrasal favorite. What does weigh in mean? Weigh in. Weigh in, everyone's favorite, is a phrasal verb. I mean, if you don't know Marco, I'm sure you could Google, but I don't want you to Google it because it defeats the point of the whole webinar structure. So here, weigh in, yeah, what they would do in a partnership, yeah. They each weigh in on a potential partnership. It's to share your opinion. They share their opinion and they give ideas. So to weigh in, share ideas. It's exactly the same, to share ideas and give an opinion. Usually if you're having a discussion and someone is very quiet, you can say, do you want to weigh in here? Do you want to give an opinion? Yeah. So here they would be talking about how the Durbacher and the sales rep, Gavin, could work together. Sorry, Gavin and Rohit Vijay, how they could work together. How can they collaborate? Cool. And then our questions over at the side here, we have, how can a smaller company offer collaboration to a bigger company and vice versa? Can you think of any examples? So when two businesses are coming together for a collaboration or for a merger, how can they help each other? What can they do positively? A small company or a big company? Let's hope that. Make it very clear, my question. I know I talk too much. How can a small company help a large company when they collaborate? How can a small company help a large company when they collaborate? We don't need to think specifically about a brokerage. We can think about in general or anything specific that you know. Maybe in films when small maybe producers or small film companies have helped big businesses in a collaboration. Yeah, producing part of their business, but how do you mean producing part of the business? Yeah, providing them with some instruments, of course. Yeah, providing them with some instruments. Instruments, usually we talk about musical objects when we say instruments. Usually it has the connotation of musical instruments. But strumenti, translated into English, we would say tools, providing them with some tools. Expertise, perfect. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe a small business might know the local market a bit better than a big corporation or a very large company. For example, McDonald's. If we think about McDonald's, it's a worldwide, very, very, very famous company. But maybe they needed to collaborate with some smaller businesses to discover what to serve in different countries. You can find very different things even in England and in Italy. You find very different things if you go to Asia and you eat McDonald's compared to America or South America. Cool. So yeah, I was thinking of expertise in a marketplace. Perfect. And then what about the other way around? Vice versa. How can a big company help a smaller company when collaborating? How can a big company help a smaller company when collaborating? a small company has some local tools, local knowledge, local expertise. What does a big company have? To show that question. Perfect. Big companies usually have much more experience than small companies. Economic resources, of course, yeah. Usually a lot of funding would come from the bigger company for the small company to start or to make the ideas a reality, of course. Also, what was I thinking? Experience. Yeah, so you're perfectly right, economic, but also experience, maybe experiencing in managing employees, small or large numbers of employees, or experience in growing a business. Maybe small companies are still small because they can't grow. They don't have the resources. But a large company has the experience, has the resources, the money to help a company grow. Perfect. Wonderful. Where are we? We go. Next slide. Get rid of this. So here we have a conversation between Gavin and Rohit Vijay, who just met at the sales conference in New York. So, Gavin, I'm so glad we got a chance to meet. We've just opened a branch in India, and it seems to me that we could work together. I'll consider it. My staff could use some help in expertise. We have a few new employees, and as a team, they're still trying to find their inspiration. And our office could use some help meeting local clients. It seems like there's a future here. It could be a good idea to arrange a conference call to talk in further detail. What are the chances you're free next Monday? Monday's great for me. Perhaps we could have perhaps we have something here. I'm very sorry. Terrible at reading. I can talk and talk and talk, but reading out loud is not my forte, not my strength. But here is the conversation they have about a possible collaboration. So again, Marco, I'm going to ask you, is there any language you don't understand in there? Also, if there is language you understand, or if there isn't anything you don't understand, if it's all clear, find above phrases for making observations and for making tentative plans. So we've got to find some language in here for making an observation or making a tentative plan. Helping school. It could be a good idea. Perfect. What are the chances? A good one. Good one. What are the chances you're free next Monday? Because he's asking, are you free next Monday? Possible opportunity for a plan. Perfect. Any more? What are the chances? It could be a good idea. Kind of an agreement one. I'll consider the idea. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So here we have, it seems to me that sharing and making an observation, it seems I'll consider the idea. Perfect. Tentative plan. Perfect. It seems there was a future here. Wonderful. Seems like there's a future here. It could be a good idea, as you said. And what are the chances? Perfect. Perhaps we have something here also. Wonderful. Wonderful. Seems like the future. Perhaps we have something. Awesome. Cool. So they're really going to be very helpful for each other. Great. So here we just need to match up. Remember, can you remember the phrases from the last slide? Can you finish these ideas? What follows the verb? What follows the noun? What follows these sentences? So we've got perhaps we have. I'll consider. It seems like. What are the chances? It seems to me that. It could be a good idea too. And then on the other side, the idea, you're free next Monday. What could work? We could work together. There's a future here. Arrange a conference call. Something here. One, something, perfect. Perhaps we have something here. Number two. It seems like there's a future here. Yeah. Yeah. About number two, I'll consider. Marco, I haven't seen your answer for number two. Perfect. I'll consider the idea. Perfect. It seems like there's a future here. What are the chances? It seems to me that it could be a good idea too. Cool. I'm going to assume that you have finished these phrases correctly because you get 100% of the answers correct, Marco. So what are the chances? You're free next Monday. Perfect. It's coming through now. It seems to me that we could work together. It could be a good idea to arrange a conference call. Perfect. Wonderful. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. What is one thing you could improve in your own workplace? Could you collaborate with someone to help? Is there one thing you could improve in your own workplace? So, in your job as a film, sorry, in your job as a film journalist, is there one thing you could improve? Or if you could improve one thing, what would it be? What would it be? Would I change anything about my workplace? No, I don't think so. In my English school, everything is really good. I'm really happy at my English school. So personally, no, I think maybe other teachers want to change some things, but no, the communication works well. The system works very well. I don't know, maybe just some more updates on focuses because sometimes they can be repetitive, but hey, but that's all good. It's always different with different students, so I don't mind that too much, but otherwise it's all good. You've said the communication in general. Sometimes your boss is not very clear and you make mistakes because he didn't explain well. Oh, yeah, communication is very, very important. You don't want to be making mistakes because of someone else's mistakes, because then as that goes down, it's terrible. So I learned to ask always if I have a doubt, to be sure to do the right work. Perfect. I learned to ask. I learned to always ask. I learned to always ask if I have a doubt to be sure to do the work right. Beautiful. Perfect. Good job. Here we go. Here, now we need to practice. Practice. Use the expressions to describe the following struggling companies. Imagine you and a partner are two colleagues discussing the future of the company. How could they resolve the situation? Perfect. So you and I, Marco, I'm going to give a couple of examples for these underneath using the language that we saw before here to observe a situation or to make tentative plans. But yeah, start typing. I will give my ideas as well. So a family-run firm with leadership issues. Global conglomerate with employees lacking motivation. Second-year company without clear vision. Industry leader looking to expand. Cool. So yeah, as I said, start writing in any ideas that you can think of. I will think of some sentences as well to answer these questions. A family-run firm with leadership issues. So as an observation, perhaps we have to reassess our management structure. Perhaps we have to reassess our management structure. That's an observation. You could then say you'll consider the idea, I guess. For a global conglomerate with employees lacking motivation. So, observation, it sounds like our employees are demotivated. It sounds like our employees are demotivated. It could be, for the tentative plan, it could be a good idea to have a group activity day, like team bonding. The whole team of each department can go out on a different day just to relax, have fun, do an activity, and just work together. They might be more motivated if they have better relationships. Number one, you said it could be a good idea to put in charge the person with the best expertise, not the major actionist. Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a difference between taking action and having experience. And sometimes the experience can be much better. Perfect. Be careful of your structure. It could be a good idea to put the person with expertise in charge. Put the person with expertise in charge, not the major actionist. Or we wouldn't say actionist. Maybe not the risk taker or those that take action or someone who takes action. Cool. There's a fly in my room. Family, a global conglomerate with employees lacking motivation. So I said about the team working day. Second year company without clear vision. So it seems to me that we have lost our direction as a company. What are the chances that we find a new direction? We need to be more focused and find a new direction. Sounds like we have to set up a meeting to see our priorities and goals. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Or it could be a good idea to go back to step one and think about why we started the business in the first place. What was the reason? And then we can find our vision again. And then last one, industry leader looking to expand. I'm going to wait for your answer on this one, see what you've got to say, Marco. I have a song stuck in my head, and it's a song that you have to dance to. It's an obligation to dance. So it's difficult not to dance every second right now. It could be a good idea to start a new branch. Let's break ground. Good idea. Yeah, good idea. Start a new branch, find a new location, and break ground. Perfect. And awesome use of that new language. Really good work. I like that. I like that. Cool. So moving on. Here we have finance, hospitality, consultancy, or engineering. I am going to go for hospitality on this one. Just because I like to follow this story of Shelby Retreats through our business focuses. So, Shelby Retreats is a new semi-luxury resort on the island of Mallorca that offers classes in which guests can learn to cook from charismatic chef Javier. And here is a picture of Javier. Doesn't he look great? Recently, local newspapers have written several positive articles about Shelby. Prime, a national television channel, calls Javier and tells him they want to create a show. They ask him to plan the show. So, together, we need to plan a show and decide what Javier will do. And then role play the conversation. We can just chat. We've got 2 minutes left. So, using the same language as before, thinking of Javier creating his show. What do we need to do as his agency or his management team to create a cooking channel? What could we do? I would say, because in the hotel, he offers classes in which guests can learn to cook. It seems to me that we could make this a educational cooking show. It could be a good idea to aim this TV show at a younger audience. Perhaps young people that want to go on holiday to Mallorca, young people that are learning to cook for the first time, maybe. Also, as it's a hotel in Mallorca, we should consider the idea of having traditional food from Mallorca. Perfect. Yeah, it could be a good idea to make chef recipes suitable for people with no cooking experience or no cooking skills. Perfect. Careful of your spelling of recipe there. Recipe is recipe. Recite. Horrible spelling, not phonetic at all. Very difficult one for many, many of my students. But hey, perfect. Wonderful. It's now 10:02, so thank you for joining us tonight, Marco. It's been great working with you for this 1 hour, a nice one-to-one, just us two. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow. I am here again, same time, doing a business focus. So awesome. Thank you very much. I will speak to you soon, Marco. And anyone else watching, I'll see you soon.